in this video, I have 12 really simple, easy, and fun ways that you can better connect with your kids, that you can have more quality time and feel better, get rid of the mom guilt. Let's dive in. And be sure and stay tuned to the very end because the last one is the most important. I have said it before, I will say it again. Being a mom is the hardest job in the world. You are doing so much, you're trying to balance so many things, and whether you work inside the home or outside the home, you are working your tail off, and yet somehow it's so easy to feel like that's never enough, right? Like it's not enough time with your kids and you're messing things up. I have recently made a video confessing 10 things that I struggle with as a working mom of 4 young kids. But in this video, I want to really help all of us and remind us that it's not the quantity of time that we spend with our kids that matters. There are several studies that show it is the quality of time that is so much more important. And that is something that we can all work to improve upon. Really quickly, if we haven't met, I'm Amber with Solutions for Simplicity, and this channel is about equipping you with easy ways to do more, stress less, free up more time and energy for who and what you love. So make sure and subscribe for weekly videos. But the very first thing that you can totally do, no matter what your situation is, to have more quality time with your kids is prioritize your bedtime routine. Now, this doesn't have to be elaborate. It doesn't have to be long, right? I know that we're usually pretty exhausted by the end of the day. And certainly our kids, right? They kind of have that window where they are getting so tired. And then if we don't act upon it, they get out of control, all wound up, and getting them to bed is that much harder. But the great news is that no matter how the day went, you can end the day on such a more positive note if you have a special bedtime routine. Again, this doesn't have to take forever. It doesn't even have to be the same thing day after day, but just really take that deep breath. Think about how much you love your kids and then take a few minutes to snuggle with them and ask them how things went, right? What was the best part of their day, the worst part of their day? I love tucking my kids in at night. I love checking on them after they have gone to bed. And of course, this might vary depending on how old your kids are. But my oldest is still only 8, so, I'm still very much involved in a lot of the nighttime and bedtime preparations. So these are great moments to just talk and connect as you are going through the tooth brushing and, bathing and all those kinds of things. Really helpful to spend a few moments and have that quality time getting ready for bed. Tip number 2 is something that I have got to thank my parents for because they totally did this, and now I laugh as I am implementing the same thing with my kids. That is to make chores fun, right? It's that old Mary Poppins mentality that anything can be fun and entertaining if you just have a good attitude. So yes, I'm really trying to instill in my children that there is always work that needs to be done. We need to pitch in as a family, and I certainly don't want to be the one that is alone cleaning up the kitchen or, doing chores while they're off playing, because then we are separated, we're not spending time together, and I start to feel maybe that resentment as well as the guilt. It's like you can't make anybody happy, right? And so using that time to get kids involved, work with them, show them how to do these things, and then talk or laugh, sing, dance, play while you are doing family chores, that's so fun. Tip number 3 is a hard-learned lesson for me. That is that it is so helpful and important to be present at your kids' sports practices or, music lessons, whatever activities they are involved in. They want you to be there to watch and to give them your undivided attention. I used to think that I was being really efficient and productive, trying to multitask and get some work done while, say, my kids had baseball or something like that. Sometimes, yes, we do need to do that, But I noticed more and more that then my kids started acting out at practice, or they were frustrated, or again, it was just a missed opportunity for connection. And so when I changed and I started actually focusing on them and watching them, giving them my undivided attention while they were doing whatever they were doing, it really made them so proud, and it gave us more to talk about later on. It's a really easy way to have more quality time, even when you're not directly communicating or interacting with each other. They know, they sense that you are giving them your attention, and it goes a long, long way. Number 4 is to have deep conversations while you are driving. I don't know about you, but my family spends quite a bit of time in the car, back and forth to school or daycare or, little things here and there, even errands. And that driving time shouldn't go to waste. I know it's really easy. I've done it before where you just pop in a DVD or, turn on the iPad and let the kids kind of keep themselves entertained and distracted in the car. But to the extent possible, I have noticed a huge difference when I instead communicate and talk and have these really cute little conversations with them. It's amazing what they bring up, what they observe, what they want to talk about. Many of my kids are big talkers, kind of going nonstop. And my little one, he's the third one, but so he's not the youngest, but he's 4 years old now, and he's all about the why, right? So being in the car is just a really easy way to have quality time and use that as time to talk that you otherwise wouldn't have had. That leads to number 5, which you can also do in the car, but you can do at home, you can do anytime, anywhere. That is to rock out to your favorite songs. Or even the silly kid songs, right? The ones that they want to play over and over and you get so sick of hearing. I will always kind of be scarred for life by some of the songs that my kids have had on replay over the years. But the point is that getting silly, acting and dancing out, maybe grabbing that wooden spatula and rocking out in the kitchen. It's such a fun way to be together and have fun. The music really just liberates you and makes you maybe a different version of yourself than you ever were before having kids. Give it a try. It is such a great way to have quality time.
All right, rock out.
Number 6 is family game night. There are so many different games that you can play with your kids. It can start at a really young age, anything from just sitting and being with them as they play with their own little toys to Slapjack or Candyland, some of those really easy games for young kids. And now that my kids are 7, 8, almost 9, we are able to do things like play more advanced card games. They play chess. We love to play Outtro. I could go on and on, but those family game nights are just a really awesome time for us to sit and be together, for my husband and I to put our phones away and have some individual time, either with each kid, depending on how many players there are per game, or all of us all together. Battleship is another one that my kids are really loving these days, and I love that each of these games gets the kids to use their mind and kind of learn more skills. We, of course, are constantly learning that playing games isn't just about winning. So sometimes we've got to work with the attitude that comes up if somebody gets frustrated or discouraged. It's all just a great opportunity for learning, for connection, and for being together. Let me know in the comments what some of your kids' favorite games are, if you do any kind of game nights, and if you have noticed the same thing. I should also mention that these don't have to take hours and hours, right? Some games do take a while, but there are lots of ones that you can do in 5 minutes. And it's really easy when you're tired or you just want to go off and do your own thing to say no to the kids' request to play with them and be with them. I know, I've done it, but having the little bit of time where you are playing a game or playing with them, doing what they want to do, gosh, that is just amazing. It really goes so far, and it fills my cup and makes me feel like such a better mom when I do it. Number 7 is probably my personal favorite, goes hand in hand with the different kinds of love languages that are out there. I imagine you've heard of the 5 love languages, and if not, I'll put a link in the description so that you can check that book out for yourself and the kids' version. But number 7 is to send written notes packed in your kids' lunch. I love writing little affirmations or, even just a smiley face, something new every single day that I get tucked away inside my kids' lunches and imagine them opening up when they eat at school. Sometimes my kids are increasingly even writing notes for themselves. For instance, I was gone for a week in May, and I heard from my husband that while I was gone, my oldest son took it upon himself to make the other brothers' lunches, and he wrote sweet little notes to go inside each one, which just touched my heart so much and made me feel really proud because I have to think he learned that from me. The whole point is that even when you can't be together throughout the day, right? Like I'm not there sitting with my kids while they're eating lunch at school, but I can smile and feel good inside knowing that they are getting this note while we are apart and that is helping them have a better day and helping us feel connected from afar. Number 8, I have to credit my good friend Juliana with because she suggested this long ago. We implemented it and it's been a game changer. That is to have decision days where each of your kids has a set day of the week or even a set time of the day, however you want to do it, where they get to be the primary decision maker. At least for the things that they should have some decision-making power over, right? So things like maybe what we eat for breakfast or for lunch or for dinner, what music we listen to in the car. If they're gonna get to watch a TV show, we alternate, who gets to pick the show. Each of these little decisions might seem really small, minuscule, unimportant to us as the parent, and often things that we want to control because it's easier. I don't have to, maybe think about what groceries to buy if I'm the one that's planning the meals. But when we give our kids decision-making power, it teaches them the importance of these decisions and it gives them that sense of pride, that authority to feel like they are contributing, they are helping, and they are getting what they want so that they are then more understanding and accepting of the kinds of decisions that they don't have control over. So what we have leaned into is having a set day of the week where each of my kids gets to be the decision maker over those kinds of decisions I mentioned. And then it just really provides some structure and routine to the week that lets them know whatever happens one day that they don't get to make decisions, they have another day coming up where they do. And letting them have control over those decisions also just affirms to them that I care, that I value their opinion, and that what they say or want really does matter. All right, if you have made it this far in the video, would you do me a favor? Comment down below that moms are awesome, right? Moms are awesome. Please drop that in the comments. Let me know you're still with me. Number 9 is to have a set night of the week where you give each kid a little bit of extra one-on-one time after the other siblings have already gone to bed. I got this idea from Jordan Page, who calls it tuck-in time, and wow, I just can't even begin to tell you how awesome it has been and what a difference it has made for having that quality time with my kids. It's so great to have all of us together, doing quality things as a family, but allowing each individual kid a particular night where they get just even 5, 10, 15 minutes alone with one or both parents is such a game changer because it makes them feel so special. It helps them feel like they are getting something that nobody else is getting. And, it's just amazing to let them choose an activity that we are going to do together out of the ordinary. It's their choice. It's something that they want to do. We put our phones away. We give them our undivided attention. And, it's something that I confess we are not always great about doing every single week, but when we can and as we are able, particularly in the school year when it's easier to stick to a routine, this is just a wonderful, wonderful way of getting great quality time. Number 10 is very similar, and that is to have one-on-one dates with each of your kids. So regardless of the gender dynamics, doesn't matter if you're mom, daughter, mother, son, or father, daughter, father, son, the point is to figure out a time where one parent can take one child out of the house, away from distractions, away from other kids. You're not seeing things that should be done around the house, you're not hearing other kids, and you are then exclusively focused on that one kid who you might let choose, say, where to get something to eat, what activity to do, maybe a store to visit, something like that. It doesn't have to cost money. There are so many different free options that you can find in your local area, especially at different times of the year. But wow, I just can't even begin to tell you how helpful it is to go and have that one-on-one time away with each child. This is hands down probably the best way to get the most quantity of quality time with a particular child. The next way to have more quality time with your kids is to make sure and sit down for meals together, or at least try to sit down for one meal a day, or even one meal a week if that's all you can swing, right? You remember the old tradition perhaps of having a family Sunday night dinner. If you can do dinner together as a family every night, that's awesome. So much better than maybe turning on the TV or setting kids in front of their tablets. I don't know, I get it. I know how fried we are at the end of the day. If that's the case, if evenings are hard or parents have different work schedules and you can't all be together, maybe breakfast is the best time. My family has increasingly started having these wonderful family breakfasts, and we have these moments where we go around the table, talk about what's coming up ahead of time. And we have family prayers that we say, this breakfast benediction that my kids are so adorable at reciting. And it's just such a great way to start the day before everybody goes off to their respective school, work, or daycare. Last but not least, the one that I can't recommend you try enough is to have a pass back and forth journal between you and your kids. This, again, probably goes back to my particular love language, which, if you couldn't already tell, is words of affirmation. I sure like to talk, right? And I like to write. Oftentimes it's much easier for me to think out by writing than by saying things out loud. And the wonderful thing is that by having this journal, I have one with each of my kids, or at least my two older ones, because they are the only ones who can read and write right now. It's a beautiful opportunity to see more of what they're thinking, hear what they're struggling with, and give them a chance to express things that maybe we haven't had a chance to talk about in person, or that are hard for them to verbalize. It's oftentimes so much easier for us to write out our thoughts or feel more safe communicating through the written word than, saying things out loud. And as a busy parent, I definitely want to give my kids my full attention when they're talking to me, but oftentimes other kids are talking in the background, stuff is going on, and I'm thinking of a million things to do. So it's harder to be fully focused and present on what one kid might be saying. That's why this pass back and forth journal idea is just something I can't recommend you try enough. It is just awesome. So special. My kids have written the sweetest little notes in there. We ask each other things like, how was your day? What are you looking forward to? What did you think of X, Y, or Z? And I'm going to treasure these for years. I'm going to hold on to these. This is a tradition I hope to keep up well into their teenage years, if they will humor me and do that, right? So I really recommend that you implement this and all the other easy ways that you can have more quality time with your kids. Let me know in the comments which was your favorite, or if you have tried any of these, if you have any other tips to add. We all crave that quality time. We all wrestle with mom guilt, and I just love equipping you with some suggestions to try and make it better. Give this video a thumbs up and then jump straight into these other videos for more of my top work-life balance tips. Make sure and subscribe before you go. I again make those weekly videos on planning, productivity, and purposeful living. I'll see you in the next one. Have a great day.